Alright. Hit the go live a little earlier than the timer. That's alright. We gotta let people gather anyway, or they'll miss the start and be all mad. But it's also pretty late over in Europe, so let's get this show on the road, huh? How we all doing? Just untangling my headset while we wait just a hot second for people. How's that doing? How's that doing? There we go. It's a little more space, a little more reach. Just a hot second for people. Sounds like I'm using the right mic. It just sounds quiet for some reason. How's that doing? All right, whatever. Hello, everyone. We are doing part 2 of our Faction War stream. This is where we got last time. The round of 32 is completed. Well, the rounds of 6 and 16 and 8 are also completed, but we'll cover that today. So on the stream, there was a Faction War part 1. You can see the results of that here. For example, Voidlals versus Sir Groot, Voidlals won. Hanadins versus Big JP, Hanadins won. So you can see all their icons move forward. We have all the matchups currently listed, and we have all the next matchups ready to go. So we're going to pound through those today. That'll be 12 replays. Yeah, 4 on each side, and then 4 total after that. It's 12 replays. And then I will organize with the final 4 live event to do that at a later date. So let's get on with this. You can all go to bed. How about that? Hey. What up, Loopy? All right, not going to do these in any particular order besides avoiding round 3 until we need them. So let's go with, sure, Demons of Chaos, Wood Elves. We're on it. Might as well cover it. We have an ODM face-off, Hanadins versus AC Maiden. Hanadins is a great player. Plays a lot of Tzeentch. Apparently plays a lot of Demons of Chaos in his time. Faction is currently not doing great. On the other side, AC Maiden used to play a lot. I haven't seen him playing as much recently. Does like Wood Elves, who is another faction that is struggling in general. For Hanadins, we do have Zverik, the Feathered Prince with both pink and blue fire up in the sky. A backline of blue horrors. Looks like 4 Fleshhounds of Khorne, 4 Chaos Furies. Yes. And then 4 Nurglings. 2 Screamers or just 1? Just 1 Screamer. Have you watched the PEIC tennis match? No, I don't even know what you're talking about. Other side for Maiden. Front line of Dryads mostly do their magic damage. Magic damage for demons is very good. Then we have 5 Deepwood Scouts, all with Swift Shiver Shards, giving them more magic damage. We have a Branch Wraith with Melkots and Earthblood. And Awakening of the Wood, interestingly enough. Sisters of Twilight, they also do magic damage, except for their arrows don't. And then a couple Glade Riders, just for some mobility, but it's a large magic damage dealing Wood Elf. I don't want to say blob, because it's not a blob, but you know, conglomerate wants to run at you and shoot you. Looks like Demons of Chaos are setting up a pretty wide flank, but one side of the formation is going to get attacked for free while this is happening, so I don't know. It was very waku. I don't know what's happening, Cyrus. I'm scared and confused, so I'm just going to run away from this conversation. I don't know what to do. Demons of Chaos are taking some punishment while the Wood Elves move up on them. From behind, there is some closing. Some, kinda, sort of. Blue Horror starting to tee off into Deepwood Scouts, and an overcasted pink fire does a lot of damage there. Takes them both to about half HP for being rough. Blue Horror stopped firing by Glade Riders, and the Dryads are going to finish up for a little bit more punching power, but I think Fleshhounds and Blue Horror should be able to beat Glade Riders and Dryads. We'll see how that goes. Blue Horror is still firing into these very expensive Wood Elves. It's going quite well, and Hanadins manages to slip in with just all of his mobility tools. Fleshhounds diving in, Furies diving in from all sides, and we have 2 Deepwood Scouts already routing. The other 3 are having a tough time firing. Fleshhounds commit to the fight with Blue Horrors, with this Branch Wraith and Glade Rider. It doesn't look like that's going their way, so they are going to back off, especially with all the Deepwood Scout support. But so far, the Demons of Chaos are getting the better of things. After a bit of poke in the early game, once they committed, they are doing so much damage. How are we doing on Deepwood Scouts? 2 routing, 1's almost routing, and then 2 are rather healthy. But, ooh, gets netted in place by the Tier 2 army ability Narcissism of Slaanesh from the Demons of Chaos. And that is a 3rd and 4th Deepwood Scout routing, so only 1 Deepwood Scout is still fighting. Other than that, it's just Dryads trying to fight in melee, Glade Riders trying to fight in melee, and the Wood Elves are not known for their melee grinding prowess. So that could be a tough avenue for them to go. Looks like the Sisters have decided to snipe out Svark. They are now following him around, trying to get good damage off. Demons of Chaos are largely fine with that. They're just letting it happen. Quick little breath attack onto some Furies, but it's nicely dodged by Hanadins, and is looking tough for the Wood Elves to win this one at this point. A lot of their carry potential is routing and just being chased down, and a lot of their balance of power is held up in their rather healthy healer and healthy Lord. That won't be enough to carry the whole game. Another huge pink fire. And the Dryads are kind of a double-edged sword, aren't they? They deal magic damage, which is good against demons, but then they have weakness to fire, which Tzeentch can take advantage of. This is going well for my bracket. Is that sarcasm? Sarcasm or serious? It's hard to tell with you. Wood Elves continuing to get run off the map. And I just don't know what they can do at this point. Sisters would have to... I mean, I would say they'd have to put their carry pants on, but even they can't kill all this stuff. Because Sisters are... Even when they were OP in Warhammer 2, their whole thing was like snipe potential, not clearing out infinite amounts of things. Big net plus blue fire combo. Meanwhile, this Branch Wraith is getting your ass kicked by a Fleshhound surround, and it's looking like it might be GG here. Who dares message me? It's Cyrus. Hi, Cyrus. I think Wood Elves are not going to do much. Big thinking. It's true. It is true. Also, any donations to today's stream do go towards the prize pool. I think it's currently at like 100 and something, 175. I think, off the top of my head, I think Cool Umbrella, Black Knight, and Coops contributed to it. I think those were the 3. Maybe Strat Game, because Strat Game contributes to a lot of things, but I think it was those 3 I just listed. Hanadins will take the W here, as the Wood Elves concede. Zark almost got 2,000 value. Fleshhounds of Khorne did very, very well. Screamers of Tzeentch did fine. Chaos Furies also did quite well. Blue Horrors did excellently. And the Nurglings got chopped to absolute pieces. But somebody has to. Sisters of Twilight did fine. Branch Wraith did okay. Deepwood Scouts were a really good idea. I like, on paper, what they could do, but Hanadins just had so much mobility, and he ran them down. Glade Riders and Dryads did their best to protect the backline, but really couldn't. So it's a damn shame. Alright, quick pop over to the Photoshop. Beep, beep. Hit the little copy, hit the little paste magic, put Hanadins down. There is one of the first people to advance to the quarterfinals. Alright. Boop. We'll just do the bottom round 2-1 for this. We have John FB on Grease's Goldtooth's faction. So Ogres versus Voidlaw's Vampire Counts. If you're like most people and you put Voidlaw's winning the whole thing on his Vampire Counts, you're sincerely hoping for things to go exactly how you would expect. But maybe there's an upset. The Ogres were dominating our stream yesterday. ODM's the green one. Pulling out Ogres at all times and kicking tons of ass, so never count them out. What up, Coops? How you doing? So for John FB and the Ogres, we have 2 Iron Guts in the back, a front line of Noblars plus basic Ogre Bulls. We do have the Stonehorn of Morn, Stonehorn ROR. We have a basic Giant, triple gold Chevron Giant, Greasus Goldtooth, a Fire Belly with Burning Head and Flaming Sword of Run, and that is it. They are not going for the kiting VC strategy, they are going for the sprint at VC and just outblob them. On the other side, for Voidlaws, we have a front line of Skeleton Spearmen and Zombies. And Skeleton Warriors, these Graveguard. Zombie, Skeleton Spearmen, yeah. Skeleton Spearmen and Zombies across the board. 3 or 4 Crypt Horrors. We have a Corpse Cart. It doesn't have the Unholy Lodestone, so it just has Vigor Mortis, giving everybody stats. And then in the back, we have the Dire Pack, Anti-Large Dogs. We have the Devils of Shortsoft and Vargeist ROR. We have one Blood Knight, just one, and a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. Interesting. No Necromancer on his corpse cart? Yeah, no Necromancer on his corpse cart for Void Balls. The Blob has started. The Blob has begun. Greasus, his Giant, and his Stonehorn all just trying to stay in the fight for as long as possible. And a nice Burning Head. Gonna take out a bunch of the chaff in this area, leaving the corpse cart and crypt horrors alone in the fight versus a bunch of anti-large stuff. So a nice 3-for-1 value on that Burning Head. Also takes out a Skeleton Spearman all the way over here. Now Void Balls isn't going to take the Blob fight right away. He's going to pick off what exterior forces he can. So he focuses his Dire Pack, he focuses his Vargeist, his Blood Knights, his Blood Dragon Lord, and everything besides the center. This is pretty smart. Just don't fight where your enemy is stronger. We do have a Mass Route coming in on the far side. Only the Iron Guts are standing strong, and they aren't standing so strong at this moment. We also have Novelar's Terror Routing on the far side, and the Dire Pack get worked on by these Ogre Bulls and Iron Guts. That is going well, and overall, I think John FB is quite happy with how this one has started. Corpse Cart's not feeling too great. Crypt Horrors overall aren't feeling too great, and he already took out the Dire Pack. Blood Knights are full health, Blood Dragons full health, Vargeists are decently healthy, so not everything is going great, but most things are going quite well. Just eat the enemy. Blob fight continues on a little bit. Not a whole lot to analyze, as it is blobby blobby blob time. I imagine we have a breath attack coming on to Greasus here. Nope, it's onto the Ogre Bulls. Might have been a misclick, might have been intentional. Not entirely sure. Ogres are being allowed to rally. I guess there isn't a ton of mobility to chase them. Devils, a Shortsoft, and a Blood Knight are rather elite to send chasing after random Ogres, so maybe Void Balls is okay with them just coming back, or he just needs his mobility elsewhere and can't afford it. But Firebelly, we saw that one nice Burning Head. I haven't seen anything since then, so I'm curious what he has up his sleeve. Blood Dragon Lord dives in, trying to get to the Firebelly, but there are some basic Ogres in his way, and their mass makes it very, very hard to find your target that you want to hit in the middle of a blob. And now he has a triple gold Chevron Giant to deal with. I imagine Void will be pulling this Blood Dragon Lord out rather swiftly here. And he is gone. Bounce power is still relatively even, going slightly in the favor of the Vampire Counts. The Ogres do have some rallying troops on the far side, and they need to get back into the fight. And meanwhile, all their support in the center, it's looking a little scary here, because the Over-Tyrant's Crown makes them ITP, gives them some damage resistance. The Rag Banner of the Firebelly gives them leadership. Horde Master gives them leadership, and Stand Your Ground gives them leadership. All these leadership buffs, and they're still faltering, which is a little scary for them. Corpse Card is nearing its healing cap, but it's still in the fight, giving everybody in this Vampire Count Blob +5 melee attack and melee defense. I'm pretty sure they want that gone as fast as possible. Iron Guts have rallied, but have not quite been brought back. Greasus gets jumped on by the Blood Dragon Lord. This is very scary for the Blood Dragon Lord. He'll have to get his value quickly and somehow get out of here, but the Ogres could actually surround him, and this could be a bit risky from Void Balls. He has taken a big punch to the face, as the Stonehorn is currently messing him up. The Giant doesn't give a shit. The Giant's just focused on the Corpse Cart, which is fair. It is giving pretty serious buffs to everybody around it. Blood Knights are even going to charge in, trying to help out the Blood Dragon Lord, but everyone has their price popped onto them, lowering their melee attack by 24, making it much harder for them to do anything. And a quick Burning Head will come through, just trying to clear out some more of that chaff that is really annoying the Ogre single entity so far. Corpse Cart is still fading, but still regenerating, and now the bounce power is turned against the Ogres, and I would tend to agree there's not a lot of chaff left in here to protect the single entities. Now they can get more easily surrounded by Blood Knights, can get more easily surrounded by Crypt Horrors, and the Blood Dragon Lord can dive in and out more freely without a bunch of Ogres standing around. YouTube didn't notify. I started it up pretty quickly after posting it because I was gone at my mother's birthday, so I just got home and I wanted to stream real quick before Europe went to bed. So we're doing our best to catch everybody. Greasus is fighting Crypt Horrors, so is the Stonehorn, and these last few Iron Guts are hanging in there with all the overlapping leadership buffs of the Ogres. Firebelly's trying to get sniped out by the Blood Dragon Lord. Can the Giant and Stonehorn protect him? It looks like so far they can. He's missed both of his attacks, and he's taken a few in the back in the meantime. Blood Knights also charge in. Greasus Goldtooth wandering over to help out. Crypt Horrors heal caps. One of them's appearing. The other two, I still don't see their heal caps yet, so they probably still quite have a while to go. Another zombie summon comes out, and the blob fight continues. Stonehorn of Morn isn't looking so hot. Neither is the Firebelly. Greases and the Giant are fine, though. That is it. The last of the Ogre support is leaving. Just 4 single entities versus the world. What up, Black Knight? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Another big burning head. Is it overcast? It's hard to tell. It didn't do overcast damage, but that doesn't mean it's not overcast. Looks like it was. That's a good amount of damage. That'll clear out a lot of chaff. And if the Ogres can get rid of the chaff, then they can beat the vampire counts pretty easily. It's just there's so many zombies in the way, absorbing some hits for other things. And ooh, the Stonehorn's getting its ass kicked by the Blood Dragon Lord right now. That could be a problem if it gets out of here. Something's getting cast on it. I guess it was Glacial Defense. I wonder if they have Butcher charged or not. Because they don't have natural healing. It's not like they have a Fire caster. They don't have a Ogre caster, the Great Maw caster. But like, I haven't seen any Ogre abilities go out, and you have to imagine with Undead being so low in leadership that they would get their passive stack. Unless, I guess I don't really know how Ogres stack their passive against Tomb Kings and Vampire Coast. Is it just anything that's negative HP, negative leadership that you get kills on charges you? Because then you would think that would do really well versus Undead, but clearly not. I'm not seeing a lot of stuff. There's a Butcher onto the Triple Gold Chevron Giant. Blood Dragon Lord is currently T-posing on Grease's Gold Tooth to assert dominance, but then it does land. And it's trying to get a big hit onto the Fire Belly. Can't quite manage it just yet. Giant is fighting his way out. Balance power is significantly against the Ogres at this point, and there's just so much chaff around. Slowly crumbling or not crumbling at all. What up, Tom Bombadil? Greasus is so bad. I mean, he's been a cool tech piece here. Oh my god, he has 600 value. Yep, okay, he sucks. I understand the tech piece, though. The Over-Tyrant's Crown gives the entire blob ITP and damage resistance. Then he has +8 leadership. And then his friend, the Fire Belly, is +4 more leadership. So you just make their leadership so high that the enemy can't rout them, is the idea. But man, Greasus himself is just not doing anything. He's not swinging for the fences at all. That dude has 565 value. Fire Belly did great. 438 kills. Just clearing out infinite chaff. But army losses will hit and Void Lulls will advance. It was a pretty good attempt, though, I will say. It was a pretty good attempt. For a while there, it was looking quite good for the Ogres, and they just got slowly ground out. Yeah. Pretty good values across the board. Blood Dragon Lord, 2,200. Blood Knights, 2,200-ish. 2,100, I guess, if I'm being fair, but still. One of the Cryptors got almost 2,000 as well. Devils of Schwarzhofen didn't get too much value, but they were just there to chase stuff in case of, like, a Iron Blaster or something, so... That was Void Lulls versus John FB. Again, I'll pop over to the Photoshop real quick. We'll keep everything moving. I know some people have to get to bed. Let's take Void Lulls, chuck them up here. Boop. I have not watched these games ahead of time. I do know who wins for scheduling purposes because I had to get people together with their next opponents. So I know who wins, but I haven't actually watched these games before myself. Some of these builds are just surprising to me as they are to you guys. All right, this one, Loopy versus Warlord. We have not gotten to see Warlord yet because his first opponent, the Kislev player Platypus, had some family stuff going on with Thanksgiving and Christmas and such, and scheduling for him is going to be hard, so he just dropped out. So Warlord got a free buy in round 1. Now we will get to see him in all of his splendor on Norsca versus Loopy, one of the admins around our channel who volunteered to play Lizardmen when in neither of the qualifiers did we have anybody play Lizardmen. Outside of the top 8 of the second one. So I need another Lizardman player, and he stepped up. But he is normally an Elf player. Let's see how he does. For Loopy, we have triple Chameleon Skinks, Cold One Spear Riders, and Cold One Riders. Feral Cold Ones in the back, so a lot of Cav. We have Nakai the Wanderer with triple Saurus and the Red Crested Skink ROR. 2 Skink cohorts with spears. We have a Skink Priest of Beasts in the sky with, it looks like, Panzerpenetrable Pelt and Transformation of Kadon, the Manticore Summon. On the other side for Warlord and Norsca, triple Marauder Horse Master, 2 dogs, one of which is an Ice Wolf and one of which is the Beast of Tashnar ROR. Front line of Marauders and Icehorn Marauders. Back line of Marauder Hunters with Javelins. A Premier Balefiend of Shadows with Pit of Shades and Enfeebling Foe. Wolfric on his Mammoth with Sea Fang and Hunter of Champions. And 2 Skin Wolves in the very far back. Generally, I have said this a lot of times, I think Throg is just better than Wulfric right now. I think he is cheaper. I think he is a better duelist. He has regen. I think he has better buffs. I think he is better than Wulfric in almost every capacity. But some Norscan players really do still like the Wanderer. Saurus should beat the shit out of Marauders in the front line. There are no Marauder champions here. But they're not alone. We do have some Spear Throwers. We do have Pit of Shades. We have Skin Wolves and stuff. A little bit of clumping here from Warlord. His mobility elements are piling on top of each other a little bit too much. As the Beast of Tashnar decided to just take a fight, the Cold Spear Riders will countercharge them, though the Beast of Tashnar are small targets, so they won't get all their bonuses still. Cold One's doing very, very well, and Skin Wolves will get involved in the fight, though they are currently doing that weird charge thing where they run in a single file line, which make them much less effective. Skirmish Cav is trying to support the Cav fight while the Dogs and Skin Wolves get their fight on, and we even have a Pit of Shades coming out, trying to catch 2 units at once, doing a little bit of damage for both. It was a little off-center. Wulfric dives in deep, going after Nakai. He is now surrounded by Feral Cold Ones, who, with Primal Roar, have 65 melee attack, and they're just going after him. He starts to retreat towards his own line, going through the front line. Famir Belfian could probably kick the Skink Priest's ass if he just turns and fights him, but it looks like he is going to run away for the time being. Cold Ones are taking a good amount of damage from the Skin Wolves and the Skirmish Cav, but with a Manticore Summon flying in on them, and these guys are not ITP once they get low. Frenzy gives them ITP, but they're not naturally ITP, so they can Terror out from that Manticore if they take enough damage. Lizardmen are slightly up on the bounce power, I would tend to agree. Saurus are pushing through the front line. They're now compromising the Marauder Hunters with Javelins, who still, one of them's at half ammunition, but the other one is full ammo, and he's not going to get to throw. I don't know where the Sea Fangs have gone, but that is a good blob one if it is off cooldown, or a Pit of Shades or something. Skin Wolves are starting to tear out, as we mentioned before, and if they tear out, it's very easy for them to get rear charged and then naturally route off the map. But they finish off some Cold Wind Spear Riders, and will probably be able to rally in the distance, especially since that Manticore Summon is about to fade. Boop. There's a big Pit of Shades onto the Lizards. If Norsca has any hope of coming back in this game, that is a good way to start it off. Really taking out 4 units, just doing so much damage to them. That was huge value. We still have 3 healthy Saurus off in the distance. We have some healthy Chameleon Skinks. The Cav of Loopy has all seen better days, but it's still around. For Norsca, we have 1 healthy Skin Wolf, 1 Skin Wolf, 1 healthy Skirmish Cav. Wulfric's almost dead. And the Iceborne Marauders are doing right. Another Sea Fang tries to rat off the Feral Cold Ones and does succeed in doing so. Big pick attempt on Nakai the Wanderer. Does he have Hunter of Champions on him? No, not yet. If that is off cooldown, it needs to be thrown down soon. This Lord Snipe attempt from Norsca is kind of a last gambit to get in this game. We do have Javelin Hunters throwing at Cold Wind Spear Riders. Meanwhile, the Marauder Horse Masters are running away. And by running away, I mean charge into Skink cohorts, just to escape, get near the Skin Wolves. And here, Nakai is getting his ass handed to him. 0 melee defense while sitting in all these Skin Wolves. One of them is routed off, luckily for him. That will keep him a little bit alive, but Wulfric is doing some serious work. And another good Pit of Shades cast from the Famir Balefiend will probably delete this entire Saurus unit. How's Scrag? Scrag sucks. Was he OP with Gorgers? Was he OP or Gorgers? Gorgers were OP, and then he just supported them, but like, yeah, Scrag still sucks. This is one-sided rip. It got closer in the mid-game. Yeah, Loopy had a really strong start, and then Warlord clawed it back, but he was just too far behind. It is looking like he is going to get just ground down. These Chameleon Skinks are going to throw at Wulfric till he dies. We have enough Saurus left to beat what Norsca has left, and the Famir Balefiend maybe has 1 more Pit of Shades in him, and he could kill off some Saurus, but I mean, there's just nothing left to support him. Wulfric's going to rout, and that's probably GG. Let me blast all them Discords. Thanks, Black Knight. Yeah, it's getting pretty late for people in Europe, so I just wanted to get the stream out while they could still watch and get on with their days. At this point, I think this is all but decided. I'll play on ×2 speed, just in case something shocking happens. But there is the army losses, and well played by Warlord. It was a rough start. His Skirmish Cav and Dogs were all clumped up, and then they got involved in a fight with superior Armored Cav, but he fought back from there rather admirably, made it actually quite a close game. So, yeah. Nakai for Loopy did fine. His Cold Wind Spear Riders did okay. His Saurus frontline beat the brakes off the Marauders, and that's what they needed to do, so good for them. Chameleon Skinks really showed their value here. They did excellently, and Skink Cohorts of Javelins did just fine. Wulfric, again, he's 2,000 plus gold up on that Mammoth, and he only got 1,100. I just really think Wulfric has fallen behind. the times, and I don't like when he gets taken. Some people like him, that's fine. I just personally think Throg is better. Premier Battlefiend of Shadows did well. Skinwolves struggled as they have through all of Warhammer 3, as did the dogs. Marauder Hunters with Javelins were a good pick, just had a hard time getting anything done. The Marauder Horsemasters did okay, but most of the value was taken from Pit of Shades and Wulfric. 11 Warhammer 2, you mostly only saw Wulfric and no other lords, now it's mostly just Throg. I see a lot of Wulfric, but I think we should see just Throg. Alright. High Elves versus Empire is next, but first we have to go over to the Photoshop and give everybody the nice old bracket update. So where is it? Loopy on Lizardmen will advance to fight Zivoidas. Also, I got a new background for this. That background is, I don't want to fuck up his name. It's from Sixfold. He messaged me on Discord and gave me a background so I didn't have to have a white one anymore. So that's fun. It's got a bunch of Skaven stuff. Anyway, I digress. We have LS Black versus Greyest Wolf. They've sounded the horns. Nice, you're back in time for your own game. Black Knight is in chat. What's the role of any Ogre Lord? They don't even bring one in Dom. Not Warhammer 4, but just generic war score. I mean, Ogre Lords can get the magics out. So for the High Elves versus Empire, this matchup is one of the more interesting ones in my opinion. There's multiple ways both sides can play it, and it feels pretty even these days. We do have a Great Eagle, not a lot of times to see basic them. Life Mage with only Regrowth and Earthblood to support Imric, and then we have Imric up on his dragon. 2 Dragon Princes, 4 Illyrian Reaver Archers, 2 basic archers, and a front line of 4 spearmen. On the other side for Greyest Wolf, we have Sons of Sigmar, plus a whole bunch of spearmen. In the back, we have the Silver Bullets, the Sunmaker, Hellstorm Rocket Battery, more spearmen. Karl Franz up on Deathclaw. Yes, up on Deathclaw. Jade Wizard with Regrowth and Dwellers Below. Demigryph Knights with Halberds and 2 Empire Knights. 3 Empire Knights. Very interesting. Norsca and Ogres suffer from all the same problems, the curse of the pre-release race. Maybe Ogres will get some new stuff in Game 4. Alright. Handgunners teeing off onto Imric. Getting a little bit of poke damage onto him, while the Hellstorm Rocket Battery is really just trying to take out any front line for the High Elves. Though I would think you would want to focus on the Archers. I guess, I don't know. Anything is fine. Any High Elf target is a good target. They're all very expensive. But, I mean, are you really scared of Spearmans? Or are you scared of Archers getting in range of the Silver Bullets? But, I don't know. That's a pretty minor detail as far as this goes. Just like, yeah, there's limited infantry. Sunmaker, take them out before they get here. Maybe that was it. Maybe he wanted to shoot at the spearmen because he knew the archers would always be at range, but the spearmen are pretty soon going to get into melee where you can't shoot them anymore. A little bit of a stall out from the High Elves. They got up to the front line and then just stopped. It looks like they're focusing mostly on getting their cavalry in place with their skirmish cav and dragon princes, but now the Hellstorm Rocket Battery turns on to the archers, and actually a whiffed volley there. It's not anyone's fault, it's just some bad RNG, but that archer unit got out relatively unscathed, and they are going to move forward and start to deal with the Silver Bullets, who are again shooting at Imric, really trying to poke him down as Franz comes outside of the box to give him a what for. I forgot the Eagle even existed, but see, this is why I was like, I'm scared more of the archers than the spearmen, because look how much damage they're doing to the Silver Bullets in like one volley, forcing the Silver Bullets to fuck off. Franz is going after the Great Eagle. He has all of his buffs popped, and he can't quite find a fight, so that is unfortunate for him. Dragon Princes will take a fight with the Empire Knights in the back, but they get rear charged by Demigryph Knights with Halberds, and that is going to be a very bad time. Someone's going to have to come over here and do something. Maybe Imric's got a breath attack in mind. I don't exactly know, but the High Elves are in a bit of a rough spot at this exact moment. Sunmaker flubs the shot again on the archers. Black Knight dodging out a little bit there. Then Imric gets a breath attack down on the Silver Bullets. A Dragon Horn is popped, giving all the High Elves a bunch of melee attack buffs, and the Illyrian Reavers dive straight in on the Sunmaker. So big moment of play for the High Elves, taking out the Sunmaker, taking out the Silver Bullets, and crushing this flank. Now, they didn't get out unscathed. Imric took a shitload of damage from the Silver Bullets while lining up that breath attack. And the Dwellers Below will almost kill this Illyrian Reaver Archer, but those are pretty small potatoes compared to what they just got for it. On the far side, Empire Knights plus Spearmen are fighting Dragon Princes. That is a favorable trade for the Empire, but the entire backline, aside from that, is going very poorly for them. Frontline's going okay for the Empire. The High Elves should be able to grind it out, but overall, I think the battlefield control belongs to the High Elves. Big Overcasted Regrowth is getting Imric back up to full health, so all the advantage you got was damage onto Imric, and it is gone now. Sure, you're closer to his healing cap, but we'll see if that matters. Franz is dueling it out with Imric. He finally got the fight he wanted, and neither of them have buffs or debuffs. Without his buffs, Franz is pretty meh. 43 melee defense, 56 melee attack, 490 armor-piercing weapon strength versus 74, 56, 580. So no buff versus no buff, Imric will win that fight. He is now surrounded by Democrats with halberds, and this is a dangerous point for Black Knight to be in. Imric's going to take a bunch more damage, and his healing cap is within sight, meaning now that might matter because you can't heal him up infinitely. But at the end of it, even if you snipe Imric, can you kill everything else from the High Elves? We have 2 Dragon Princes, one of which is rather injured, the other one is just fine. A lot of Illyrian Reavers to chase down anybody they kill, and 2 fully functioning, full health archers in the back, able to shoot their way out of a bad situation. So I think they are going to get the Lord Snipe onto Imric. They might be able to finish him off. I just think they will lose the game around it, as Black Knight's cavalry flank, decision-making, and micro probably are going to carry the day. Ooh. Wow, the Great Eagle manages to snipe out the Jade Wizard in the middle of a bunch of Imperial forces. That is rather surprising. And now, if this Jade Wizard is run off the map, then Franz has the health he has. He has no other form of healing. Imric trying to get away, has another regrowth that's probably going to heal cap him here pretty soon. But it's looking tough. Sigmar's Sons did manage to find these archers. That's something. There's only one archer that's actually up and doing anything. But it's looking rough. Bounce power is going a little closer to the army losses territory every second or so. Demigryph Knights, the Reichlin Runefang pop do have 57 melee attack plus their bonus versus large, but they're surrounded in Spearmen right now, which they don't want to be in at all, and Illyrian Reaver Archers are getting a rear charge onto them. Illyrian Reaver Archers, if they have high leadership, they will get their martial prowess. Oh, it's their hit points. If their hit points are above a quarter, they have their martial prowess, which gives them 32 melee attack and 34 melee defense. They're all plenty fine. Imric gets up into the sky, and if he rallies, I imagine we'll go into army losses territory here. He rallies. Oh, we're so close. I was close to being right, but I was not. Looks like he's lining up a breath attack. No, he's just vibing. But that is it. There's the breath attack. On to Franz. Big damage, gets him to rout and causes the army losses. There it is. Ogren DLC for 40k total war confirmed. Yeah. 3,200 on Imric. 800 on both the Dragon Princes. Illyrian Reaver's got about 500. Ooh, one got 1,000, so that's very good. Caster didn't get any value, but she was just healing up Imric. Archers did fine. Spearmen did fine. Franzi Poo, 1350. Flat. About 1,400 on the Silver Bullets for all their damage onto Imric. 1,700 on the Demigryphs Halberds, only 700 on the Hellstorm Rock Battery. It had a really tough go. It had some bad RNG on those final shots, but it was mostly Silver Bullets and Demigryph Knights trying to get things to the very end. GG. Pop on over to the Photoshop again. Boop. Black Knight will advance. Do we have any duplicates left? Yeah, there's 2 High Elves left. Raced and Black Knight. That's the only duplicate left. Everybody else has 1 or none. Alright. He might have more ego than the planet itself, but he can back it up in Warhammer 3. Alright, Nurgle versus Kislev. Schnoz and Blood Penguin. Pre-Immortal Empires and Post-Immortal Empires, this is roughly an even matchup, roughly, because Kugath can be difficult for the Kislev to take out, with Archers being really their only viable method of doing so, and Archers being a little janky in Warhammer 3 at times. And Kislev has a lot of expensive units, which Nurgle is great at killing with Streams of Corruption. Did I just miss a High Elf game? Grumph? You did, but you can rewind, and also there are more in the stream. We have another High Elf player, and we know that Black Knight just advanced. So there are at least 2 more High Elf games in the stream, maybe 3. For the Nurgle build of Schnoz, we have a Herald of Nurgle with Stream of Corruption, Rancid Visitations, and then his Locus of Fecundity. We have a Soul Grinder of Nurgle, 2 Chaos Warriors, 2 Chaos Warriors with great weapons. We have a Cultist and an Exalted Hero of Nurgle, and then 4 Skirmish Cav Throwing Axes. For Kislev, Boris Ursus and his Patriarch Healing Compatriot, We have a Tempest caster with just Blizzard. Then we have a front line of armored Kossars, some with great weapons, some without. 2 Warbear Riders and a back line of archers with 1 Streltsy mixed in. So Kislev's trying to stay cheap overall except for 1 Streltsy, so there's not a lot of great targets for sniping, and then a lot of Warbears and Boris for the anti-large blob busting potential. Now, Boris is trying to stop this Soul Grinder for getting free shots off while Blood Penguin's army advances, and Nurgle is trying to defend it by sending all their duelists forward every time he charges in and out. Now, what could be dangerous here for Nurgle is if he overcommits, these Warbear Riders can do a lot of damage to large targets. I know I was playing with Blood Penguin recently, and he had some Warbear Riders carry an entire game for him, getting over 3,000 value. Not even the ROR, just basic Warbears, so it is dangerous. And Boris himself is no slouch. You can see so far this fight is going quite well for the Kislevites. On the far side, Skirmish Cav are suffering the fate a lot of Skirmish Cav deal with when they fight Kislev, is that even when your front line is hybrid, anything you try to skirmish with can shoot back at you, and infantry-based ranged pieces will almost always beat skirmish cav or skirmish infantry, because usually they're just outnumbering them. Boris Ursus has already had to pop his Buy Our Blood passive, taking an absolute beating from the Exalted Hero of Nurgle, the Cultist of Nurgle, and Rancid Visitations cast from the Herald, but now he is getting healed up by Silic's Lullaby. He is not dead, and he is unbreakable, so he's not going anywhere, and he is going to slowly regenerate back up. The Herald of Nurgle took a lot of damage in that as well, and now the Cultist is caught taking a good amount himself, so it was not for free. It was a really good play for Nurgle, but can they capitalize it? Can they actually rout him? And if they can rout them, can they chase him off? That's all that matters. Exalted Hero gets a huge hit on his back, and Boris will now flee, and I imagine the Herald of Nurgle is following him with a keen eye on getting 1 more Rancid Visitation down. Nurgle is slightly up on the balance of power, and I would tend to agree. Patriarch plows back in to help out his Warbear Riders in their fight against the Exalted Hero. The Patriarch himself is a pretty piss-poor combatant, but he does give nice buffs and healing for his Warbears, so he needs to be up there. Herald of Nurgle is following Boris, making sure he can't come back, but he's pushed off, it looks like, because Boris just ran past so many archers and pistol infantry that the caster had to juke a little bit, but it looks like Blood Penguin gives up on that fight and is going to turn and get more guaranteed value elsewhere. Herald of Nurgle is chasing off Boris. Kislev has lost their lord and their best duelist, but will it matter? Big Blizzard onto the Cast Warriors of Nurgle. Going to take out a lot of this unit. I don't think they'll delete it. I forget if Blizzard even does that much damage, but it's still decent. And Soul Grinder is taking out the Streltsy. Skirmish Cav for Nurgle. Plenty of ammunition, not as much health. They're taking a lot of counterfire and having an issue with that. Soul Grinder Nurgle is down to about 1/3 ammunition, and the Infantry Corps of Nurgle has seen better days. 1 is pushed off on the far side. I don't see the 4th. There's the 4th one. 4th one's full HP, but these 2 aren't feeling so great. Cultist did manage to rout off the Exalted Hero, and the Cultist of Nurgle is almost on his way out, as well as the Warbears just start to surround him entirely. Kislev pulls back to even on the balance of power, even after losing Boris, who's still running off into the distance, and the Herald of Nurgle does not want to waste another Rancid Visitation on him, which is a big expensive spell, so he's just walking him off. But this entire time, he's not casting spells. He's not getting the free healing for his whole army from the Nurgle army passive. He's not getting Streams of Corruption out on all these archers, and it is a tough decision to make, but it might end up costing him, as Boris is officially off the map. But Herald of Nurgle, tons of damage, heal cap in sight. Cultist Nurgle, tons of damage, heal cap in sight, routing, but he will be able to rally. Kislev has a lot of archers left, a lot of ammunition on the boards, and the Soul Grinder just took an absolute walloping from the Warbears, and it is now starting to demonic crumble. Throwing axes could be a nightmare for those Warbears, but that's why you had so many ranged infantry to defend you, and another Blizzard gets cast on these Chaos Warriors, routing them away from the Patriarch. These other Chaos Warriors will soon rout from a full surround by bears and the caster and all those things. Herald of Nurgle is trying to come back, is trying to offer some healing and some support, but the balance of power keeps ticking down over towards Kislev. Soul Grinder is gone. Boris is the tank boss. What up? Hey, bird. What is this, pre-IE? No, it's Faction War. Sometimes it just happens. Nurgle is down to a full health Chaos Warrior, half health and healing Nurgle Cultist, some very wounded Skirmish Cav, very wounded Exalted Hero, and a Lord. I'm really liking Kislev's wide army at this point. They have ammo aplenty, ammo for days. I love how they're entirely ignoring shooting at this Cultist. They don't give a shit. They're just like, nah, I'll shoot at the Skirmish Cav instead. And that full health Chaos Warrior of Nurgle looks real cool until you realize that only 2 Blizzards have been cast this entire game, and it's the only spell she has, so they have a big Vortex spell with their name on it. We have a bit of farting around as Nurgle tries to regroup for a quick AoE heal from this guy with his Locus of Fecundity, so I'm going to fast forward through that a little bit. Y'all know what's happening. As Kislev tries to pick off some of the isolated members, not bothering to chase down all of those healing lads. Pick off some Chaos Warriors, deal with them, get your archers line back secured, and Nurgle tries to find a good attack angle. More archers and pistols aiming at the Exalted Hero of Nurgle, just trying to get a little bit more poke out onto him. And on the far side, more pistols counterfire the throwing axes. Big Stream of Corruption onto the Streltsy who are already damaged. Now, Streams of Corruption are great against targets with full health. They are pretty pitiful against targets with not a lot of health left. So they definitely scale with how many models you have left. And the Streltsy are down to 34, so they don't actually take that much. Warbearers itching for a fight with this Exalted Hero are coming out to play. And the Herald of Nurgle in the sky is just kind of being cheeky, coy. Doesn't want to get shot, doesn't want to get in melee. But he is a lot of the balance of power. So he is going to dive down. I don't think he'll be getting back into the air if he's surrounded by Warbearers. And the Patriarch, who's taking a slapping from this Exalted Hero, even almost dead. That guy's just dishing out the pain. And the Plague Bearer's summon from the Cultist of Nurgle is bugged, and it gets canceled. Can he get it off the second time? Yes, there's the Plague Bearer summon. It was not permanently bugged, thank God, but that has happened before to demonic factions, so it would not be that shocking. I wonder if Blood Penguin uses a Blizzard just on this Plague Bearer right here to immediately get rid of it, or if he saves it for the real unit of Chaos Warriors, what he values. Herald of Nurgle does manage to get off the ground. Exalted Hero gets away and is not shattered, so he could maybe come back. The Cultist is nearly heal capped. Cozy stream on my dinner cooks. What up, unused username? How you doing, man? Streltsy and the Warbearers are all charging the Chaos Warriors of Nurgle. I really wonder if there's a Blizzard ready for them. There it is. Yeah. Bait them in with the Warbear Riders who won't take a lot of damage from the Blizzard, then cast a Blizzard on top of them, and there's very little friendly fire to be had. There goes the entire Chaos Warrior. On the far side, Schnoz is using his Skirmish Cav quite well. Considering how damaged they were, he gets a nice charge off on Armored Hussars and shatters them, but they're taking a ton of ranged fire from these archers, just getting pushed off. And the Herald of Nurgle dives down onto the Frostmaiden. Rancid Visitation's upgraded, doing a lot of damage to her, taking her down. Her passive's already popped, and the Herald of Nurgle plus the Cultists are going to take her down. It's just not enough. These are great plays from Schnoz, but he is so far behind. Another nice Stream of Corruption, really scrapping back from the depths. But the Exalted Hero of Nurgle tries to come back. He shatters. The Herald of Nurgle tries to run away. He's getting chipped down. His healing cap's in sight. Cultist is officially heal capped, and he finishes off the Ice Maiden. But all 3 Skirmish Cav are gone. There's just nothing left here for Nurgle. That will be the game. Though Schnoz did not take losing lying down. Herald of Nurgle, great value. Exalted Hero of Nurgle, great value. Cultist of Nurgle also did quite well. The throwing axes were a neat idea. They just struggled to really find a home and find a place with all these archers shooting at them. The Chaos Warriors also had a hard time really getting stuck into the fight. Soulgrinder Nurgle did okay. Boris Ursus got slapped right away. Props to Nurgle for sniping him out appropriately. He was a little over-aggressive. Patriarch was a nice supportive piece. 3 Blizzard casts get about 1200 value, which is pretty good for that spell that I'm usually quite negative on. It was well used here. 2,100, 1,200 the Warbears, but I think you're going to see a lot of the value is spread out among all of these archer-type units. Yeah, 1,000 on some, 800s on others, so it's a good Blood Penguin build. Just a lot of mixed, ranged, and melee units that Nurgle can't really find a good home on. So, Nurgle Kislev. It's done. Beastmen Dark Elves is up next. But first, you know where we gotta go. So Kislev Nurgle Blood Penguin will advance over our boy Schnoz. And we're on to watch Razel versus Thunderwolf. ODM's Razel, OG Beastmen player. He's been playing them for a very long time at a quite high level, though he did take a bit of a break from the game as far as I know. So maybe he's a bit rusty. Maybe he will just crush it. Substrat game. I want to root for Nurgle, but prickly blobs of hybrid archers are also endearing. On the other side, Thunderwolf has been a rising star from VM. He plays very, very well, and every time I've played with him, he has been a joy. He beat me on his Dark Elves versus my Skaven. Let's see if his reign of terror continues. So for the Dark Elves, you have triple Scourge Runner Chariot, Malekith, triple Black Arc Corsairs with Hambos, double Cold One Knights, the Sister Singing Doom Witch Elves, and triple Dark Riders with shields. For the Moo Men, Ungor herds, Ungor Spearman herds mixed throughout the front line, then a mass of Centaurs. Centaurs are throwing axes, the Butchers of Kalgengard, ROR, Minotaurs, more Centaurs with throwing axes. This one, the Grogsos of Wolf's Run. We have another Minotaurs with great weapons, a Braciaman of Wilds with, it looks like just Traderkin, and Torox the Brass Bull. Told him Malagor would function better here, but he didn't listen. We'll see how it goes. Did he play Beastmen pre-Torox? If so, then I'm rooting for him. I think he did, but I don't actually know. All right, Bird seems pretty confident that he did, so he did. This matchup is pretty bad for the Beastmen. Most times, Scourge and Chariots are just excellent versus them. Soul Stealer is great versus the Beastmen. A lot of armor-piercing missiles and all those sorts of things. So it is a tough matchup for sure. Razel does manage to catch some of the Scourge Runner Chariots and his Centaurs. It looks like the Scourge Runners are mostly just going to walk away from that, not taking too much damage. And the Centaurs are going to get punished by Black Arc Corsair Handbows the whole time, so they just have to back off. Big Soul Stealer from Malekith is going to catch the Butchers of Kalgengard and Torox, who has Brass Body active, so 40% damage resistance right now. But Malekith is still getting his due on all these guys. Scourge Runner Chariots are turning inwards and really firing down on the Butchers of Kalgengard, who are having a terrible time. Centaurs are trying to pile in right now, get their value, and Malekith's getting chased down by Torox. Can he lift off? He does, because Torox's charge animation stops his momentum, so then he lost the plot a little bit, and Malekith got to get up in the sky. On the far side, Beast Mobility is trashing these Dark Elves, keeping them pretty close to the corner, so really hurting them around. Haha, the cows are hurting other people. Very funny, good joke, but it is good micromanagement over there. And on the backside, the Sisters of Singing Doom are currently slaughtering some Ungor Spearman herds. Beastmen are up on the balance of power. I think it's much more even than that. Beastmen tend to have a balance of power advantage. Scourge Runner Chariots are taking very little damage, but they're running out of ammunition, which could be a concern. Malekith landing yet again very aggressive from Thunderwolf and risky. If he gets caught in this Butchers of Kalgengard or Torox again without more Soul Stealers to heal him up, he could be in big trouble. Though there is a Soul Stealer to heal him up, and therefore he's not in any big trouble. Scourge Runner Chariots still healthy, still firing on the far sides. Minotaurs really feeling it. Butchers of Kalgengard quite low on HP, so are the Minotaurs with great weapons. And there are Cold One Knights somewhere. It's hard to tell where they are because I know they're not near this flag. This flag only has 3 models near it. But another big Soul Stealer, another big chunk of damage, and it's sad. We've got to lock in battle times next one. Alright. Alright, Black Knight. I tried to let people schedule their own so they could deal with time zones and stuff. That way it can include more players. Butchers of Kalgengard do rout next to Torox, and Malekith leaves the fight slightly more health than he entered it because Soul Stealer does a lot of healing, and I love Soul Stealer. It's a great spell. It's so good. It's such a good spell! Grog Hooves of Wolf's Run charging in, but with the Witch Elves, the Sisters of Singing Doom nearby, they are going to rampage and not be able to escape, so now that they're stuck in a fight with the Black Arc Corsairs and 2 different Cold One Knights, this is probably the end of the Grog Hooves of Wolf's Run. We are getting down there in Beastmen. Both Minotaurs have been pushed off, though this one, the Butchers might be able to rally. They might get far enough from the Dark Elves that they rally, and they do. But aside from that, our Centaurs are feeling the hurt. They're not feeling so good these days. Trader King Caster and Torox are okay, but aside from that, they don't have a lot of support left. Malekith is quite healthy when you consider the Soul Stealer is about to take him back to full HP because of reasons. Then we have Scourge Runners that are healthy, though they're not. They have no ammo left. And we have Black Arc Corsair Handbows with ammo left and a decent amount of health. So I think it's going to be up to Malekith to carry this, but he is plenty up to the task. It's silly how much animations matter. Issue in historical photo works. Wait for your models animations. Now it goes random units. Way too good, way too bad. Not fair to new players. Yeah. I mean, one way to do it is just to play what you like, learn if it's bad or not, and then try something else. But, yeah. Torox chasing around Malekith, but Malekith will take off in a second here. He hasn't been attacked for long enough that he can get back off the ground and wait for his next Soul Stealer to take him to victory. Though he is going to land immediately in front of Torox. That seems a bit ballsy, but it looks like he really wants to rout off these Centaurs before Torox gets here. Still, it seems like a bit of a mistake, a little bit of an overextension. Black Arc Corsairs are still trying to get back in range to start firing, and Scourge Runner Chariots look like they're just standing off at a distance, waiting to chase some things down. Malekith helps tear out the Centaurs, and he runs away. Starting off the next pool, Black Knight. The next pool? Are you sure it's not going to this pool? Because everything from this stream also goes to the pool, sir. Sir, you didn't read the rules. Well, not the rules. Let me know. If you specifically don't want it to go to this Faction Wars pool, then that's fine. But if you're fine with that, then I'll add it to this pool, even though you already contributed to that. So just let me know. Let me know your wishes on that one. Beastmen trying to stay together to keep their flagging leadership alive. But they're just running down the last of the Dark Elves that they can gather, and a big Traitorkin cast. It's not overcast onto Malekith. We'll do some damage. We can see his heal cap, though it is a quite long ways off. Butchers a Kalkengard trying to keep Malekith in the fight as Torox sprints up. Torox is gonna do it! He gets a rear charge. He gets a good hit in, but I don't know. We've seen Malekith be able to just walk away from him multiple times this game. Can Malekith get back off the ground again, or will Torox keep him on the ground this time? Send it for this one. Obviously, more to come. Alright. Thanks, Black Knight. Thanks, buddy. Balance power turns heavily against the Beastmen as Torox takes too much damage. As the caster is about to get sniped out, there's nothing left for the Beastmen on the field besides them, and the Dark Elves have tons left for them. Balance of power goes into army losses, and Torox will end the day fighting it out against Malekith. What's the current prize pool anyway? Let me see. Prize pool is 175 current, but with Black Knight's additional 50, that takes it to 225. Thanks, boys. We got to keep the scene healthy. Black Knight, you keeping the scene healthy. Black Knight, you doing it. Malekith, 2,400 value. Coldwood Knights struggled to get their value back, but they did okay. Sister Singing Doom and Scourge Runners did excellently. Black Arc Corsair Handbows did great, and Dark Riders got trash canned. Torox did actually quite well, all things considered. So did the Butchers of Kalkengard. So did the Caster. Basic Minotaurs struggled a bit. Groghooves and other Centaurs with Throwing Axes did fine. Basic Centaurs did okay. And the Omnivore Frontline got mostly trash canned by their superior Dark Elves. Alright, I just need to make a note. Alrighty, how we doing on our round 2 games? Let's go check. So that was Beastmen versus Dark Elves. Dark Elves advance. So we have 2 more quarterfinals. Wait. Yeah, 2 more quarterfinals, and then we get into the semifinals? No. Sorry. 2 more random ones, and then we're into the quarterfinals round of 8. So we're getting there. Pushing through today. Let's keep going. Alrighty, any round 2 games? Round 2, blank versus blank. Oh yeah, I didn't want that one to be a spoiler early on. So it's Raced versus Dr. Jellyfish, or VP versus Slaanesh. Let's do Raced and Dr. Jellyfish in case Dr. Jellyfish is lurking. I know he's over in Europe. I think Raced is too, so if those guys are lurking, let's get them on towards bed. Even worse, I had Razel in the finals. Uh-oh. You hope High Elves beat Cathay? It is a toughie. It's a toughie. But Raced is a good player. Can he overcome the jelly of doctors, the fishiest of practitioners? So, for the High Elves, you have Archers with light armor, 4 of them. White Lions of Krace mixed in with Spearmen. Why the light armor variant? I wonder if the 40 armor is really that helpful, but apparently it does something. On the far side, we have a Dragon Prince. On the other side, we have a Dragon Prince. So 2 Dragon Princes. We have Imric up in the sky with a Mage of Life with Dwellers Below and Regrowth. Dragonblood Ishugi, Lord of Yin for Dr. Jellyfish with Talons of Night, Ancestral Warrior Summon, and the Storm of Shadows, a Jade Warrior frontline, a Peasant Longspear backline, quadruple Jade Lancers, 1 Cannon, 2 Crane Gunners, and an Iron Hail Gunner to force the enemy into you. This build, I am very concerned if they don't focus down the Archers, these Crane Gunners and Cannons will just get sniped out by the Archers rather effectively. Actually, this has become a very meta matchup, and it's quite even. Nice. Hanadins. Also, Hanadins, we cast one of your games already. We saw you beat up on the Wood Elves. High Elves go. High Elves go indeed. Race is trying to get his Dragon Princes around the sides. They take a bit of fire from the cannons, but they do have 40% fire resist, 20% physical resist, so that cannon doesn't do as much damage to Dragon Princes as you might think, which is nice for them. Quick Storm of Shadows onto Imric does leave him mildly exposed in front of the Iron Hail Gunners. Ooh, actually, in front of the Iron Hail Gunners, he might have a really bad time. He's going to start to run away, but he only has 44 speed. And he's taking a good amount of damage. This Dragonblooded Shugi Lord is poking him down, trying to get some damage out, but it's also blocking her own units from being able to shoot him, so kind of a mixed result there. Now the Crane Gunners are turning on to the archers. One archer has been routed, but the other 4 are in range, and you'll quickly see them get their value back onto the Crane Gunners. Crane Gunners are silver shielded, but they only have 30 armor and a very low health pool. Imric's even gonna land, realizing there's very little that could punish him outside of the ranged assets. Jade Lancers are more like Empire Knights. They don't do a ton of damage, they just block. And there's no like Terracotta Sentinel or anything. There's no Longmas, so he can't really get punished for going down here as long as he doesn't sit in the Peasant Long Spearman. Dragon Prince is fighting Jade Lancers is going okay for them, and the other side, Dragon Prince is fighting Jade Lancers going well for them. Big Talents of Nightcast is going to take out some archers. Meanwhile, the other archers have been damaged so much that they keep getting routed off, so that is a really good place for Cathay to be at. Imric's taking a lot of damage now that he's sitting in front of these Iron Hail Gunners. He's sitting in front of the cannon. He's sitting in Long Spears. He's just taken a beating. But the Dwellers Below does push off the Peasant Long Spearmen. We'll see if that is enough to save him. He has a big regrowth coming for him right now, it looks like. Is it overcasted or not? Yep, it's overcasted. That'll do a lot of healing for him. Peasant Long Spears do push off the Dragon Princes on the far side. Dragon Princes on the near side do finish up their fight. And the Crane Gunners, one Crane Gunner is routing. And then we'll see if the Dragon Princes can swoop over and pick them up. High Elves looking a little rough. They're slightly down in the balance of power, but most of their carry potential is feeling the burn. Imric's been hurt a lot. He needed some healing. Archers are even shattering at this point. And White Lions, though they are pushing through the front line, are doing so quite slowly. You've made me want to play this game and reinstall it again. I'm sorry, Mr. Casual. May the worst win as I'm supposed to face the winner. We already know you faced the winner, but shush you, silly. All right. Cannons firing point blank range in the Dragon Princess, but again, their 20% physical resist and their 40% fire resist is just making this awesome. I did not realize how little the Dragon Princess take from cannons. Shugi Lord, though, for Dr. Jellyfish gets a big pick, catching the Mage of Life out in the middle of nowhere. Black Knight clearly not noticing that this is even happening, and she is routed, so no more healing for Imric, no more Dwellers Below, unless she can be rallied off in the distance. 105 speed to 78, technically Shugi Lord should be able to catch her, but at what cost? We saw earlier, Schnoz did a similar thing versus Boris, but when your Lord has to leave the fight for so long with no magic getting cast or anything, it can be detrimental. Archers take out the cannon at last. White Lions still pushing up. Jade Lancers barely holding them off, but the Crane Gunners at last have to retreat and find a different firing position. Crane Gunners on the far side also coming back into the fight, but Imric will quickly get rid of them. Where are Dragon Princes? How are Dragon Princes doing? Balance power goes back to even, maybe even slightly high elf favored. His Dragon Princes are both very injured, but still in the fight. Imric is half HP. His healing cap's not in sight, so he has a little bit of love left to give. Wood tier plus $10. I will add that to the Faction War prize pool. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. White Lions are absolutely hanging in there, pushing through as many Jade Warriors as they have to. Now, Jade Warriors have pretty insane melee stats when they're affected by Harmony, but when they are not affected by Harmony, they are 24-36, which is still incredible for a 500 gold unit, but not unbeatable by any means. Crane Gunner still trying to fire, but they get side charged by Imric. They're getting shot in the head by archers, and White Lions are still pushing up. And without the Shugi Lord, who did manage to kill the Lifecaster, I will give her that, but without the Shugi Lord here to throw down Talons of Night or anything to take out these White Lions, Cathay has taken a beating. The box has been breached, and it is getting pulled apart. The second Crane Gunner is pushed off. Cannon crew rallied, but their cannons are in the middle of a giant high elf firestorm, so it might be hard for them to actually get back online. And Iron Hail Gunners, I didn't see them depart, but they were rather injured the last time we saw them. Cathay, I don't know if they have enough left in them to kill Imric. There's no horsemen really left. The Shugi Lord is an okay melee combatant, but not that good. Not good enough to kill Imric on her own good. And yeah, Cathay might be able to kill all the high elves on the ground, but Imric can dominate the rest of this game, I believe. I believe. The KF calls even, maybe not once. I have not once seen high elves win over Cathay pre-IE. Maybe my memory sucks. It usually goes to gunpowder, archers, jades, and spears. Well, Greven, you're about to be surprised, my friend, because high elves are pulling away with it. Dragon Princes, I did not know how badly the fire and physical resist combo affects cannon's abilities to deal with them. And then Imric could be a problem. Now, usually how I see Cathay handle this is just kill the archers outright, and then with no archers, your mid-line is secure, and you can just shoot Imric. But the Crane Gunners tried to snipe Imric early, let the archers get in range, and then the archers got to shoot the Crane Gunners and stuff, and really push them out. So, maybe a bit of a whoopsie there. Got to take out the archers first before trying to snipe out Imric. Yeah. Bounce power goes even further in the favor of the High Elves. Archers still poking away at stuff. And Imric is just trying to chase down the Yin Lord, who he is attacking from the sky. But he did manage to miss. Nice 2-for-1 talent tonight, though, from Dr. Jellyfish. Takes out both remaining archers. It just might not matter at this point. Another Star Dragon Breath attack. Poking Jade Warriors and the Dragon Shugi Lord. But I think this is all over but the crying, as we have a slow grind to death for Cathay. High Elf Cav is running things down, Imric is cycle charging things, and there's just nothing left to stop the big dragon boy. Dr. Jellyfish had one Ancestral Warrior summon left in the tank that he was saving, and a Talons Knight onto some White Lions, but it's not going to be enough. When that summon fades out, the High Elves will trigger army losses. Even maybe before if they snipe out that lady. Boom! Done. High Elves win it! Off the back of Imric yet again. 2,900 on him, 1,300 and 1,100 on the Dragon Princes, respectively. White Lions showing their true qualities here, doing excellently, and Archers doing very well also. For Dr. Jellyfish, 2,200 on his Dragon Shugi Lord. Crane Gunners both paid for themselves. Cannon, honestly, almost paid for itself, too. Jade Lancers did their best to block out things. The Jade Warriors held for a very, very long time. Iron Hill Gunners and Peasant Longspearmen got shut down, but they did okay. It was a close game. So that was round 2, High Elves versus Cathay. Time for the final round 2 game, after I make a quick note that Wood Tier 10. There we go. Thank you, Wood Tier. I will add that to the Faction War prize pool. Boom. Quick Photoshop update. For those who care, we will have High Elves advance. So there are 2 High Elves in the quarterfinals. Hanadins versus Raced, and Black Knight versus Thunderwolf. And we have our last round of 16 game of Strat Game versus Will Francisco at a Strat Game on the Vampire Coast. So let's do it. Vampire Coast versus Slaanesh. I don't know if I've ever gotten to see this matchup. We have a Nurgle. Mr. Casual ZAR 350. I will have to figure how much that is in US dollars, but thank you, sir. It's very kind of you. Very kind of you. So kind. Alright. Game is starting behind me, but gosh, YouTube doesn't even have PayPal. I know. Thanks for all the entertainment and education. I do my best, man. Thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I never agree with Jade units having 70, 90 armor while High Elves have much left. I think Jade is superior to FMR and whatnot. Yeah. The archers getting in range and being able to shoot it on the Crane Gunners was a big problem for Dr. Jellyfish. I do believe it's South Africa. I just don't know what the currency conversion is. All right. Will Francesco on Slaanesh. We do have 4 Hellstriders. We have 2 Chaos Furies, Azazel, triple Forsaken, 1 Exalted Demonette, and a front line of Devoted Marauders. It's like 20? Well, thank you very much, sir. We have Celestial Deerfawn on the other side for Strat Game, up on her Krabby Crab, with Denizens of Deep, Tide Call, and Ghosts of the Past, her Knights of the Realm summon. In the middle of the box are 4 Vampire Coast Bombers that just delete the Devoted Marauders of Slaanesh. In the back line, we have some Pistol Mobs, Lamprey's Revenge, a whole bunch of animated Hulks, and in the center, a Nurgle Haunter, interestingly enough, who has a Chilling Aura and some regen, but otherwise that is it. Damned Knights Errant are out. Damned Knights Errant need to go find a fight, but man, the Bombers of the Vampire Coast wrecked that front line. All 3 Devoted Marauders are already running for the hills. We have another Devoted Marauder and 2 Forsaken barely clinging to life, but they are almost on their way out of here as well. Hellstriders and Slaanesh trying to fight the animated Hulks, but with Damned Knights Errant poking them in the side, and Slaanesh on the other side pushing them off. It looks like they're not having a great day. Bombers are now firing off into the Hellstriders, doing decent damage, not as much as you saw previously, but still decent. There's also a second Exalted Demon. I didn't notice them. Something stupid. Just remember either way. Lol. Just shows credit cards. I'm checking in. Nighthead. Yeah, I don't do too much donation stuff on YubTub, so I don't really know. This is looking real bad for Slaanesh, though. Their Exalted Demonettes just got in on the sidelines, and while they are killing whatever they can get their hands on, it's just there was so much damage before. Big Slicing Shards does come down in the middle of 3 zombies, doing really nice damage, but it's just not going to be enough. Azazel tries to charge in and get something done, but he'll now get surrounded by a summon of Rotting Prometheans. He has a Morngul on one side of him, Celostra on the other, and Azazel is not going to be able to get a whole lot going for him. The Damned Knights Errant are still running around chasing Forsaken, chasing Exalted Demonettes, and that is a quick slapping of the Slaanesh front line. Slaanesh in a VP is a super rough in my experience. Yeah, probably is. This is the first time I've ever seen it, and it looked really rough. I don't know if Slaanesh really like fighting any undead. Tomb Kings felt even when we've seen it, but I don't think they like it. I think they just can do it. But bounce power is just teetering on army losses. I think if Azazel takes a big chunk of damage, it's over. Or if these Chaos Furies die, then it'll probably also slip into army losses territory. So this might be a quick in and out. But Slaanesh thrives on routing off a whole bunch of low leadership targets, and the undead do not do that. Not at all. Another big Slicing Shards will hit the animated Hulks and Bombers, but it does not finish either of them off. And Azazel's back at it, really trying to snipe out Celostra Deerfawn. He's getting really good damage down onto her. I did not think he would do that well, but another summon of the Krabby Stabbies will hold him at bay. Everything else for Slaanesh is fucked off, and Azazel cannot 1v a million. No PayPal? I'm sorry, dude. Celostra has a lot of good matchups, but Close feels like it answers in a big way. Yes, sir. Also, hi, Mossy. Tomb Kings is worse than VP. Is it? Oh. I've seen Slaanesh just spam Chaos Warriors and do okay into Tomb Kings. Alright. Slow crumbling. Strat game will prevail. Celostra did well, just stayed alive, threw out a bunch of summons, kept everything going. Morngul Haunter, I don't really know what the tech piece was behind him, but he was there. He existed. Bombers killed everything, got crazy value, and the gunner mobs did fine. Azazel so weak, Siggy would have won that. Azazel, almost 2,000 value for him. Exalted Demonettes, not doing too great, because they got there and they started killing stuff, but the stuff they were killing wasn't worth it. Hellstriders got murked. All the infantry died a horrific death. Round 2 is all complete. Boom. Hop over to the Photoshop real quick. Beep, beep. Strat Games VP will advance. All right, 4 games left in the stream. You guys can do it. You guys can hang in there. VC, Lizardmen, Demons of Chaos High Elves, Dark Elves High Elves, Kislev, Vampire Coast. Who will advance to the live round? And who will perish? This one was the first one done. It was Strat Game versus Blood Penguin, Vampire Coast, and Kislev. Ooh, we get some Ice Guard. Triple Ice Guard and 2 Griffin Legion from Blood Penguin versus Strat Game's triple Depth Guard Pole Arms. Slaanesh is not good into counts? I don't think so. It's fine, hubby. It's only 12 o'clock. Yep, I had my mom's birthday. As soon as I got home, I fired up the stream. I know it's pretty late in time zones across the Atlantic. We're trying to do our best to keep things moving today so you guys can get off to bed. If you're spectating your own games like Mr. Hannidan's here. Hannidan's, I'll try to cast your game next so you can go to bed, if that's what you're waiting on. But Vampire Coast, we just saw them play. We're seeing them play again. We have Quadruple Mortar And then 4 animated hulks. We have the Salt Lord Scuttlers, deck bombers with the armor sundering. We have a Vampire Fleet Captain, Vampire Fleet Admiral of Vampires with the Summon and Invocation Heck, a front line of pistols mixed with pole arms, and a back line of triple depth guard of pole arms. No bombers in sight except for this one bomber bat. I don't need sleep, I need answers. Thanks, Big Bang Theory. On the other side, we did see in the loading screen, but there are 2 Griffin Legions and a Winged Lancer from Blood Penguin. We have triple Ice Guard with swords. Then we have 2 Streltsy and a front line of Kossars mixed with armored Kossars. So it is a lot of Daka. And in the center, we do have an Ice Witch of Ice with just Frostmane's Kiss. That is it. No need to hurry, I have nothing to do tomorrow morning. All right. But here at Rat Industries, we do try to be conscientious of our other time zone friends. Kislev takes a bunch of punishment getting into range from the triple mortars and from some of the pistols, but they are now here, ready to counterfire, and counterfire they shall. Vampire Coast pistols are already feeling a bit of the pain, and the pole arms will also get their due. Looks like Blood Penguin's idea is just to ignore the mortars, accept their damage, but not overextend his army to shoot them. Instead, he'll just kill everything that runs at him from front to back, outshoot them, outtrade them, and win the game that way. Salt Lord Scuttlers are having a hard time getting in range. The Ice Guard and these other Kossars really pushing them back, taking a lot of damage over there. Animated Hulks and all the Depth Guard and the pole arms, everything that has a melee weapon is just charging at Kislev, deciding they can't outshoot 12 ranged units, so they will instead try and fight it. So we'll have to see. Coast is up on the balance of power for now. You do have to be scared of these 3 cavalry units, though. When everything leaves the back line, that means cavalry can sweep in and get 3 mortars roughly for free. Strat Game does seem to know this and kept 2 animated hulks back just to push off the Griffin Legion. He also has summons from this lady, but still, it can be tough. One Winged Lancer is pushed back. Fireblood is already passed. Procced. There it is. The other Griffin Legion's rather healthy and doing okay. Depth Guard chasing down the Ice Guard while getting shot in the butt by Streltsy, and Kossars fighting animated hulks and losing badly. Vampire Coast is still in the lead, but the Griffin Legion are charging straight past the animated hulks onto the first of the mortar teams, slamming into the front. Now into the back is better, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Blood Penguin doesn't exactly have all the time in the world back here, so he is just trying to kill off some mortars. Meanwhile, the pistol summon mod is shooting over the other mortar to kill off this one. It looks like 1 mortar is down. Salt Lord Scuttlers still alive, firing into the backline, getting good damage onto the Streltsy, paired with the mortars. Absolutely destroy that unit, but it will probably be the end of them as they get shot. They're down to 1,000 HP, and crumbling really hurts bats. Crumbling, like, we can bitch about crumbling all day for infantry units, but the bats have such a low HP pool that crumbling really does affect them. On the back line, the Ice Guard are getting routed off. There's only 1 healthy Ice Guard left, though it is defending itself quite admirably against the animated hulks. Griffin Legion, after finishing off 1 mortar and doing good damage to another, decide to just charge this pistol mob to free up the other Griffin Legion, and now both Griffin Legions are just sprinting around the back line of Strat Game, shutting down his pistol mobs, trying to stop the mortars from firing, and all the while staying away from the animated hulks. Salt Lord Scuttlers are crumbling. There is no way they rally now, so that unit is gone, but they shatter an entire Streltsy while paired with the mortars, so that is very nice. Kislev's having a second rally on the far side. All these Ice Guard and Streltsy should do good damage to the Depth Guard, and both these Depth Guard units have seen better days. Look at the damage they're taking. Where's the last Depth Guard? The last Depth Guard is over here, and it is very healthy, but can the Coast hang on? Griffin Legion dives into the backline. This is a summon that lasts absurdly long, but it's about to fade in 3, 2, 1, so it'll go away there. And a second summon is back here, but the Griffin Legion are just going to walk away from this fight. They really want to shut down these last 2 mortars. But where's the second Griffin Legion? Where did they run off to? They came back here. They're trying to defend their own backline. So both the mortars still firing. That is dangerous. 2 Depth Guard dying at once, though, is a huge gain for Blood Penguin. Really gives him a lot of battlefield control, because those Depth Guard are his biggest problem by far. Ammunition running a bit tight on some of their units. Some of the more wounded units have tons of ammo, but that is the way of things. Though this Streltsy, we saw what happened with those Salt Lord Scuttlers plus mortars. 2 mortars left on that clumped up Streltsy. Could be the end of them, so Blood Penguin really has to prioritize shutting down these mortars. Griffin Legion still diving in and out, trying to kill off some of these pistol mobs that are left, and another overcasted pistol summon from the Fleet Admiral gives her some damage back. Damn, Kislev getting gunned. Man, Vampire Coast seem pretty good. Might even be a B-tier faction. I need to apologize for something like that. Happy birthday to your mom. Yeah. Thanks. I was just explaining why. This stream's at a bit of an odd time, but it's like, I had other shit to do today. Ice Guard are rallying. Kislev still behind on the balance of power, though it feels like they're taking a lot of battlefield control. And the Griffin Legion just dives straight in to Depth Guard with polearms and animated hulks. Really want to take out these mortars. He gets them crumbling, and like the bats we discussed earlier, crumbling really does matter on artillery pieces. You can see how low their leadership is, their health pool is, sorry. But a big overcast Invocation and Heck really helps stabilize them, and they come back. Remounting their mounts gives them a ton more HP, and they are fine. The Griffin Legion is pushed off while in their passive. Other Griffin Legion get stuck fighting animated hulks, and again the mortars really trying to shut them down, while the Ice Guard and the Streltsy get back into range. They can even start firing in on these mortars, and with the ranged units now in range, the Griffin Legion can leave, because they will kill the mortars faster than Griffin Legion ever could. So other armored crossers are also pushed off. But man, Blood Penguin is having a hard time stopping Strat Game. He just keeps hitting these mortars, and the mortars keep fighting back. Look, this mortar looks like it might actually be doomed. It's crumbling at that low of HP, so it'll probably actually get out of here. Animated hulks are looking a lot worse for wear. I am concerned for Strat Game about how many Ice Guard are left, and these Streltsy. That's a lot of kiting potential, and his mortars are focusing on the Ice Guard, not the full health Streltsy. Could be a bit of a problem there. Another overcast from the Vampire Fleet Admiral. She's taking a lot of damage on herself for that. No summons left for her, so only heals from now on. Griffin Legion charge in again, trying to get to those mortars, but it looks like a lot of them get caught on the animated hulks. They do knock the mortars off of their mounts, and then retreat immediately. As these archers, the Kossars and the Ice Guard are all focusing on the Depth Guard. They're not really focusing on the mortars. An Ice Maiden's Kiss to slow them down. Just buying some time for the Rangers to really fire in. Streltsy as well. Everybody's firing in. One mortar is finally down. Balance of power still near the middle, slightly favoring Strat Game as it has the entire game. Griffin Legion pile on to the pistol mob, just trying to stop them from firing them for a little bit. As the Depth Guard walk into a porcupine of violence. They are having a terrible time. They went from full HP to about half. We can see their healing cap, and the animated hulks charge in, just trying to stop anybody from shooting these Depth Guard before they can get in range and start healing up, because they don't heal outside of melee combat. They need to be in melee, and they're getting just torn apart. The Griffin Legion with the animated hulks finally abandoning the mortar come in, and with the fourth time as the charm, this Griffin Legion will take out that mortar, shutting it down. The Depth Guard are also entirely dead. They finally get into melee. Maybe they can regen up, but their leadership is so low, I doubt it. And the balance of the power for the first time all game thinks Kislev might actually have a shot here, and I think they do. There's two healthy animated hulks left fighting. There is a Depth Guard that's getting some Invocation and Hex support, but his heal cap is coming so close, and it's still crumbling, and it's still getting shot, that I don't think it will survive. The last mortar is put out of its misery by the Griffin Legion. This Griffin Legion is fighting to the very last horse, but it will rout, finally. But the Ice Guard are also getting shut down by the animated hulks. Everything is getting shut down. These Streltsy have for this point in the game, have a lot of ammunition, have a lot of models, but they're just under so much pressure. There are so many bad guys right next to them. They're barely finding space to shoot, firing in sideways on these animated hulks, doing the damage they can. The Depth Guard are officially gone. Kislev pulls further ahead on the balance of power as these animated hulks and the Pistol Lady are fighting, just saying, give up, you Kislevite bastards. More Ice Guard, more Kossars, all of them running, but more of them keep coming back. They keep coming back with ammunition and just poking, Big overcasted Invocation Heck does a ton of damage to Strat Game's caster. He has not been having good RNG with whether or not that overcast can deal damage to him. It feels like they almost always do. The Streltsy are the new target of the animated hulks. Really gonna go get them, make sure they can't shoot anymore. The Ice Witch is healthy, has tons of ice breaths left to cast, but there's nothing to cast them on. You'll do more friendly fire than enemy fire this time. Looks like she just uses it for a frostbite onto the animated hulks to slow them down, but it doesn't really matter that much. So she is a pretty much non-factor in this game. But these Kossars and Ice Guards so far off firing in on the already damaged animated hulks is going to get them to disintegrate, and without them the balance of power gets even worse. There's just so many randoms left, you guys. More units shattering from Kislev could be a bit of a problem. And this lady, who knows how many invocations the heck she has left. Now, I don't know how many more she can overcast, because she keeps fucking murdering herself, but yeah, she's going to throw out one of these animated hulks. More pokes. Kossars coming back. More pokes. Strat Game is running around a little bit. Does sick himself onto the Ice Witch. Now, this is a pretty good call. If he can snipe out that Ice Witch, a lot of these guys have popped their Buyer Blood passives now, so they're no longer the Kislevites you know and love, no longer the unbreakable lads in purple, or blue, sorry. No longer the unbreakable lads in blue. So if you could snipe out the Lord, you could make them route more easily, but it doesn't look like that's going to work. The Griffin Legion plus these Ice Guard with swords are peeling things off, and the animated Hulks are running straight into their death. Another Invocation of Heck trying to keep them up. Another Icebane's Kiss just to slow them down to 29 speed, and the Ice Guard are going to stand their ground while the Kossars behind them continue firing and firing and firing. It looks like nobody wants to fight these Ice Guard that are running down the Fleet Admiral, who only has 5 pistol shots left to shoot back at them. Animated Hulks are getting shot down from all sides. The Streltsy are even back, and I think that is probably going to be GG at this point. Boom. Done! I think I speak for all of us when I say, how dare Hubby celebrate his mother's birthday. It's true. Porcupine of Violence, Hubby stopped making up sentences. It was a really good game. It was a really good game. Strat game gave it hell. His Depth Guard, 2 of them got Gatling gun down. They had a hard time getting anything done. The last one got a lot of value. Mortars were insane. Animated Hulks were very, very good. The rest of the zombie tide just tried to stop things from shooting for a little bit. So, that is good. For Blood Penguin, his Lord was extremely cheap and supportive, so she didn't get a lot of value, but she also cost like 550 gold, honestly. Griffin Legions both did excellently, not in value, but in presence on the battlefield. They were constantly forcing Strat Game to pull his animated Hulks back, protect his mortars, all that stuff. So his animated Hulks couldn't just run around the back line and hit Kislev archers. They had to stay near their mortars. It was really good battlefield control from him. Kossars did great. Armored Kossars did excellently. The Ice Guard, 1,600 value, 1,300 for the Streltsy. Only 300 on that Ice Guard, 900 on the other. So really mixed value on the Ice Guard, but overall better than I would have thought. And basic Kossars also did very well. Trogdor, damn, Kislev, big win. Yeah. Discount Sister's actually doing something. Color me impressed. Bretonnia is what tier on PvP? Depends on who you ask, but it's anywhere between C and D tier. So most people can agree they're low. It's just how low is the thing. All right. Pop you guys over to the Photoshop so you can see what we're looking at. I have some pings. It's from Eldrin. What up, Eldrin? Fun idea for you. I will check that out later. Okay. Back to this. So, Kislev will advance. Meh, meh. We have 3 more games left for the day. Vampire Counts versus Lizardmen, Demons of Chaos versus High Elves, Dark Elves versus High Elves. Boom. Personia B tier, only 4 bad matchups. You're a weird one, Bird. All right, Void versus Loopy, Thunderwolf versus Black. Let's do Hanadins versus Race, then Void versus Loopy, then end it with High Elves. So we don't have... The end of the stream is just 2 High Elves in a row. Let's spread out the High Elf love. Hanadins versus Raced. Demons of Chaos versus High Elves. And he brought a Skull Cannon and an Exalted Flamer. All right. Hanadins wants to lose, ladies and gentlemen. Exalted Flamer is trash. What the land battle community needs, keep up the great tourney. Steve Wilson, thank you, sir. That will go into the Faction War prize pool for all of these fine individuals. Steve Wilson, 20. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. As I just noted there, any donations during this stream or the previous stream will go into the Faction War prize pool. During the Faction War final, any donations will probably just go to me because it would be weird to change the prize mid-thing because I'm thinking about spreading it out among the top 4. Like, 3rd and 4th place get like $25, 2nd place gets 50, and then the winner gets like 100. But I'll have to figure that out because it's kind of a for-fun thing. And it feels weird to have a big reward for, like, you know, if you get a bad matchup in the semifinals and you're just like fucked, then whatever. So you should just get a reward for even getting that far, but it's tough. Anyway, for the builds we have Demons of Chaos, Svarik again, the Feather Prince from Hanadins with pink and blue fire, plus the Gaze of Fate. Then we have a Skull Cannon, an Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch, Fleshhounds of Khorne, the Heralds of Khorne's Fury, Blood Crushers ROR, Bringers of Beguilement, Exalted Demonette ROR. We have 4 Blue Horrors and more Fleshhounds and some Nurglings. Very diverse Demons of Chaos build. For the High Elves of Raced, this is not Black Knight, we have Imric with all of his abilities. Heralds of the Wind, Illyrian Reaver, Archers, ROR. Then we have Illyrian Reavers in the back line. We do have a Mage of Life with Dwellers Below and Regrowth. Spearmen across the front line, Lothern Seaguard in the secondary, Archers in the tertiary. Pirates is bad, Chaos is 2, Lizardmen. Ogres are S tier in my heart. Don't forget that YouTube takes their cut too. Yeah, but I'll just put the 20 in the thing, it's easier. Elves and Slaanesh, yeah. Alright. So the High Elves strategy is pretty clear. They want to walk up, pike and shot, fire over the front line into the demons, deal damage, get them to demonic crumbling, go from there. The demons, it's pretty clear they want to kite from this point. They have an Exalted Flamer single entity, they have blue fire, they have a skull cannon. I'm not sold on the skull cannon, but it is a kiting tool. As far as Demons of Chaos made it this far, I'm still convinced. Maybe Hanadins would disagree. I still think that they're a pretty bad faction. I just think Hanadins is a good enough player that he's making it work. They're not an unwinnable faction. I just think, like, if 20 random players picked Demons of Chaos and 20 random players picked, like, High Elves, I think High Elves would win probably 15 of those games. But, yeah. Race is now chasing around the Skull Cannon with Imric, though he is having a hard time actually landing any blows, and he takes a lot of blue fire. Though he's not taking much damage. How much fire resist does he have? 40 and 25% missile resist, so that fire missile damage is not doing a whole lot to him. Reoccurring theme for the High Elves today is that fire resist is coming in clutch. Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch tries to get some poke off onto the High Elves, but it isn't really working out. But that blue fire is working out, though. Takes half health off a Spearman unit. God damn. Now Archers and Imric will finish off this Flash Hound, and Imric can easily return for some healing. But the High Elves have taken a lot of punishment from this kite on their way up. Skull Cannon plus the blue fires plus the Exalted Flamer. It has been a hard time for them so far. Illyrian Reavers get caught by Flash Hounds, and now the big guns are coming out. The Heralds of Khorne's Fury. Sitting in the forest this whole time, the High Elves won't even know what hits them, as this super elite Khorne ROR is going to come out. Plus, the Bringers of Beguilement Slaanesh ROR is usually a world beater in its own right, shockingly. Blue Horror is getting a nice side shot. Ooh, rear shot on the Lothern Seaguards. Their shields did not help them at all as they turned around to try and support the backline. Heralds of the Wind going to get run down by these Khornate dogs, and things are looking really scary for the High Elves. Another overcasted pink fire just deletes these archers down to 7 models. That is a very satisfying line of dead archers. Good cast there from Hanadins, routing off more and more archers. And Imric is coming back saying, what is happening to my archer box? As they've all fallen apart, we're pretty much down to just Spearmen, which can be cycle charged over and over. And honestly, the Bringers of Beguilement could just grind through them easily. Ooh, and without archers, this Exalted Flamer is going to go nuts. So Hanadins is playing out of his mind this game. Breath attack from one, Exalted Flamer from the other. The Exalted Flamer got decent damage, though it did friendly fire its own blue horse a little bit, and Svark is trying to snipe out the life caster. High Elves have rallied the last of their healthy units into one last final stand on the far side, while accepting that everything else outside of this tiny box is dead, dead, dead. Demons of Chaos take a pretty convincing lead on the balance of power, and Imric is going for a Lord Snipe, trying to land on Svark, but he now gets surrounded by the Heralds of Khorne's Fury, though I don't know how much damage they'll do. That is not doubt. That is, I literally don't know how much damage they will do, but ooh, Gaze of Fate, netting him down in the middle of Heralds of Khorne Fury. Now, these guys do fire damage, and we saw he has fire resist, so that will help a little bit, but this is not going to help, is that he's surrounded by these Bringers of Beguilement. He will get rampaged down here into them. He still can't move. He's still getting surrounded by the Heralds of Khorne's Fury, and he is just getting worked on. Now, an overcasted Regrowth is trying to keep him alive, but what else is going on the map? While Imric is getting picked off, so is the Mage of Life, so are the last archers, and Hanadins is tearing apart this High Elf build. It didn't even look close, to me at least. Like, it felt like the Demons of Chaos started the game, got to play the game, and the High Elves were a step behind the entire time. It's just felt really brutal. Somebody actually took the Blood Crusher RR. My joke from yesterday no longer works. Ha! Listen, yeah, I remember that. You wanted to be that ROR so you wouldn't have to fight. What up, Harry Lee? How you doing? The Dwellers Below cast gets canceled because the Bringers of Beguilement were dodging it, but it looks like the caster, yeah, she just canceled it with her own item. Blood Crushers are going to charge back in Imric, not letting him off the ground. He does use Lord of Dragons to lower the melee attack of the Heralds of Khorne's Fury down to 10, but it's mostly, while they hold him in place, they are doing some decent damage. That's going to be a pretty big Dwellers, but the main point is Imric is not helping out the rest of his army. He is being held in place while the Skull Cannon gets more ammunition and kites out the Elves. Svarik gets the Cycle Charge, gets to use Pink Fires, and Imric has nothing to say about it. Dwellers below brings the Bringers of Beguilement to very low HP, also hurts the Heralds of Khorne's Fury, but another Rampage from these Bringers keep Imric in place. He might have a blue fire coming his way. It looks like there it is. The fire damage will stop that regrowth from healing him for as much as it would have. And Svarik even gets a little charge in himself, but this is looking real bad for the High Elves. Demons of Chaos, I was trying to maybe give the High Elves some hope, but it's just like, look at all these units left. We have a blue horror with tons of ammunition. We have dogs with a decent amount of health. We have these Blood Crushers who have a decent amount of health as far as an elite cav unit goes. We have a Skull Cannon that misses at point-blank range against a not-moving target, but okay, I guess. And Svarik is full HP. With Imric routing, that is probably going to be GG. And that is army losses. And Hadadin's advances to the semifinals and the live stream. Very well played on a faction not a lot of people, myself included, have any faith in. Good value on all his units, but especially the Bringers of Beguilement and the Blood Crushers of Khorne for fighting Imric for so long. Exalted Flamer and Skull Cannon don't have super sexy values, but they did their job, and Svarik also did great. Just tuning in again, why was the High Elves formation so split up? Demons of Chaos ran him around the map a lot. It was just a very chaotic game, and Raced had a lot to respond to. Raced didn't play it bad by any means. It felt like there are games where I feel like players lose games, and there are games where I feel like players win games. This felt like Hanadin's won more than Raced lost. You know what I mean? Where, like, it's not like the High Elves made a single giant mistake, and it's like, oh, that's probably a game loser right there. It was just like, you know, the Skull Cannon was always in position. The Exalted Flamer was always in position. The Blood Crushers on their flank were amazing. The Bringers of Beguilement were nearby to rampage stuff into the Skull Crushers. Svarik was always getting off really good casts, really good cast angles, stayed away from Imric. The dogs were where they needed to be. The blue horrors pulled back when they were needed, and when the High Elves turned around to deal with their backline, their shields were all facing the wrong way, the blue horrors hit him. Like, it felt like Hanadin's did a lot of things. He did a lot of cool outplays rather than, like, wow, Race just fucked up. It was like, oh god. What could Race do? So that was kind of wild. Do be wildin'. So that was this one. Now we'll do Void versus Loopy, and we'll end with another High Elf game, so it's not High Elves all day. So, Demons of Chaos advance to semifinals with Kislev. All right. Can Loopy put an end to the reign of terror of Void Lulls? Let us find out. The Ogre Blob almost did it, but John FB fell. That flank maneuver really won it. That flank was nasty. Yeah, it was really good. It was real good. What the hell did I miss? Yeah. It was a good one. If demons win this tourney, oh, they will. Void Lulls versus Loopy. You will notice that you're seeing the same map. It's because everybody at this stage of the tournament was given the same map. So, you know, all quarterfinals were played on the Tower of Hoeth. Loopy brings 4 Pterodon Riders, 2 Ripperdactyl Riders. We have a Skink Oracle on his Troglodon with only Earthblood. We have Mazdamundi with Net, Apotheosis, Arcane Unforging. Arcane Unforging? That's a really weird one to see. And then Shield the Old Ones, but not Banishment and not Ruination of Cities, interestingly enough. 2 Skink Skirmishers, 1 Skink Horse Javelins, 4 Feral Cold Ones, and 1 Cold One Spear Rider. So it's mostly a kite build. I'm curious why we don't see Ruination of Cities or Banishment to deal with, like, zombie blobs, but maybe it just wasn't worth it. Don't worry, your hat's probably going to be safe. Crazy how VC Legend Lord's still playing second fiddle to the Vamp Dragon. Alright, on the other side for Void Lulls, we have the Dire Pack, we have the Devils of Schwarzhof and Vargeist, we have a second Vargeist, a Fellbat as well, 2 Fellbats as well, Blood Dragon Vampire Lord with Helm of Discord, hit all of his normal buffs, plus Van Hell's Dance Macabre. We have Crypt Horrors on the ground, 2 Graveguard Great Weapons in the back, a Corpse Cart Necromancer with the Rod of Stroking, and zombies. Pretty straightforward build. Looks like we have an aerial fight popped, and the Blood Dragon Lord is going to run in using his Helm of Discord to try and help things out, and Overcast the Invocation Neck to keep his Vargeist even further ahead. Ripperdactyls are getting torn apart. They did a lot of damage, but as it always with vampire counts, you have to finish a unit, otherwise they'll just get healed up. So unfortunately, it looks like the Ripperdactyls' efforts will go to waste, and one of them will get pushed off. Now, Loopy did get a second one out there, and it hasn't done too much damage. Why would Void deploy in thin lines instead of wide ones? The thin vertical lines take less damage in melee, so they last longer. Do I get prize for worst build? No, you're trying to aerial kite them. It's just Vargeist got a lot of buffs, so they're kind of kicking your ass right now. If Lizardmen and Demons make it to the finals, I'll play into $40. Alright, Loopy's still kiting. His Skink Oracle is firing into the Crypt Horrors, and then dives straight into the Dire Pack because they got close enough and they triggered its attack animation. As these Skink Skirmishers are firing in, Skink cohorts are firing in. Counts are taking a lot of damage here, but again, it's all about finishing stuff off. So all these guys are crumbling. They could fall back to the Necromancer and get some free heals. Loopy's Pterodons, all 4 of them are still healthy, though they've used about half or more of their ammunition. And it really feels like Pterodons don't do any damage in Game 3 to me. I don't know. I just don't have a lot of faith in Pterodons. They feel like their little darts don't do any damage. It makes me sad. Because in Game 2, they were annoying, but they did do a decent amount of damage. Skink Skirmishers getting caught up in the Graveguard, running forward to... Looks like they had attack orders on something else. They just ended up in melee. Pterodons are all still firing. Still not really getting a lot of damage out, and Void's doing his best to dodge them. Balance of power is roughly even, maybe even Lizardmen favored, but I really favor the Vampire Count's status in this game. Because they can just pull back the Dire Pack, these Crypt Horrors, both the Vargeists to the Corpse Cart, get healing while their infantry push forward. Feels like they'll be okay. Lizardman Air Force has rallied. Ripperdactyls are back from their brief rout, here to defend in case the Vargeists come up. And the Pterodons are advancing again to poke at the Vargeists. Crypt Horrors, Zombies, and Graveguard now starting to surround Mazdamundi, and this is it. Ruination of Cities, just kill them all. Nah, he doesn't have it. Man, I want it. I love Ruination of Cities. I love just watching it delete units. Makes me really happy. Cold Spear Riders commit to the fight, trying to kill off these Crypt Horrors while also holding back the tide to allow the Skink Oracle to do some shooting. I don't know what he's exactly shooting at. I don't see where his attack orders were, but he shot at something. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is trying to land on Mazdamundi. Helm of Discord is not active at this moment. Arcane Forging onto him, increasing all of his cooldowns. So if he had his combat bonuses, they're now on a 30-second cooldown, so he needs a second there. And the Skink Oracle is shooting at Graveguard. Interesting. Thought it would have shot at the Blood Dragon Lord. Could have been a misclick. Could have been intentional. I don't know. Why does it shoot like that? That is so dumb. Why does it lob it? That is very strange. Mazdamundi throws a net onto the Vargeists right in front of the Pterodons, but it looks like the Pterodons are actually focusing on the Blood Dragon Lord, who gets off one breath attack onto these Skinks, just trying to rout them, I guess, take them out, but these are just Skinks, so I don't know if it was entirely worth their time. Balance power still about even. Maybe a little bit Void Law's favored. The Devils of Schwarzhofen are also in this fight. It looks like they're trying to pick off the Coldbone Spear Riders, so that makes a little bit of sense. Skink Oracle is still firing over there, and these Graveguard Great Weapons are getting involved. They're fighting Skink Skirmishers and the Oracle a little bit, but the Oracle's running dangerously low on ammunition. Mazdamundi's still surrounded by stuff and taking a lot of damage. And yeah, while the counts aren't fresh as daisies either, they have taken a lot of damage. Like, there's a lot less counts units than there used to be. There's still enough. Bounce power all of a sudden shifts very heavily in their favor as a mass Lizardman rout on the far side takes out a lot of their cavalry. Now it is just a wounded Mazdamundi, a couple Feral Cold Ones, Pterodons who are all out of ammunition. And do they have their bomb drops? I wonder if they have their bomb drops. Maybe they could walk over here and bomb drop on this blob. Or Ruination Cities on that blob. I don't know. Yeah, these guys... 600 value. Maybe, I guess they're like paying for themselves, getting all their damage out, I guess. Kinda. And these other ones are like 400. Mazda nets the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord in the sky, throws some Pterodons at him in melee, but mostly just doesn't want to get dove on himself. Gives himself his leadership buff to try and stay in it, but the balance of power is so bad for Lizardmen at this point. They just don't have the crowd clear, and the Graveguard are going to grind Mazdamundi to dust. Mazda and Skink Oracle are helping a bear, not helping the Airfighting's big oof. I like Ruination City right up to all 3 lines. Blast my own units to dust. Yeah, but Loopy didn't have any units he didn't have any Insta-Blast Dust, which is why I thought it could have been good there, but I guess, like, you don't know that you'll get Graveguard. You might just think that it's going to be Vargai spam, and then the Ronations doesn't have a target. Like, I understand it. It's just, I am an addict for big zoom spells, so then I always take Ruination because it makes me happy. Objectively, I think he is fine not taking it. I get it, because all you're going to kill is, like, zombies. But, again, the little kid in me wants to be like, big dinosaur, big spell! All right. Mazdamundi did fine. Considering he didn't have those spells, he really got pretty good value with 1,100. 1,600 on Skink Oracle. Riperdactyls did okay. Coldwind Spear Riders struggled to get value, but they were fighting zombies, just trying to hold back the tide. Pterodons paid for themselves, but not much more. And I would like for a ranged unit, if it gets all of its ammunition off on good targets like Loopy did, I think a ranged unit should probably pay for itself like twice over, but that's just me. And the Skinks did okay. Voidlaws, his build was solid. He walked forward. He managed the damage well, spread it out so he didn't lose too many things at once, healed up what he needed to. It was a really good damage mitigation and management, as we all know he is an expert at doing. That's not really a shocker. Yeah. This is one of the Lizardmen builds of all time. All right, final game for the day, then I gotta get going. We have Thunderwolf versus Black Knight. This is it. And then I will give you the quick spiel on how the finals are going to work, and we'll call it. So where are you? Voidlaws advances. So it is Hanadins versus Voidlaws, Demons of Chaos versus Vampire Counts in the semifinals. On the other side, it is Kislev versus, we are about to find out, Dark Elves or High Elves. This is High Elves' second chance at life in the quarters. Black Knight and the Thunder. That build looks like it was throwing random stuff together, which isn't 100% to blame since VCU's broken as shit. Lizardmen could. There's two ways to play it. In the old times was either Temple Guard box or like Kite, and that was more Kite. But the VCs since then have gotten a lot more healing, so Kite is much harder to pull off. All right, for Black Knight versus Thunderwolf, we have Black Ark Corsairs mixed with a Bleak Sword front line, and in the trees we do have, this is just Singing Doom ROR Witch Elves. In the sky we have a Manticore mixed with the ROR Harpies, and triple Cold One Knight in the back with Malekith up on his dragon. For Black Knight, we have Imric on his dragon, quadruple Lyran Reaver Archer, double Dragon Prince. We have another Great Eagle, two Archers in the back line, a front line of minimal Spearmen, and a Mage of Life with just Regrowth and Earthblood. I love the moment in the lore when Malekith entered a Mage Duel with Teclis. You don't want to enter a Mage Duel with Teclis. All right. So the High Elves have a bit of skirmishing they want to do, a bit of shooting. The Dark Elf entire build is let's get in there, let's fight some kids. There's not a single ranged unit on the Dark Elf build. Black Knight, not Black Knight, Thunderwolf just wants to run in there and hit him in the mouth. Bleak Sword's going straight for the Spearmen. Black Ark Corsairs actually hanging back a little bit. They're advancing now, but they didn't want to take the frontline fight. And that looks all right. As Malekith gets a decent breath attack. It hits all three units, but I guess the Bleak Swords are the cheapest thing here, so that's fine. And Malekith is diving in? He's diving in on a Dragon Princess in front of Imric? What is this? As Imric goes for breath attack, gets decent poke onto Malekith. Malekith throws out a quick Soul Stealer, trying to heal himself up from the damage he predicted he was going to get. And these Cold One Knights overextend in their charge, get countercharged by so many Dragon Princesses, Lyran Reavers, the Eagle, and they're getting shot by archers. That is just a dead Cold One Knight as Malekith is getting his ass kicked by Imric. So this is a very good opening for the High Elves on this bottom side. Now on the top side, there's nothing there, and the Dark Elves are coming pouring through. There's nothing really to defend these archers unless the Dragon Princes come up and help out, and these Lyran Reaver archers are going to kite away doing a bit of damage. But man, that is a lot of infantry you need to keep away from your archers. Great Eagle might be overextending itself. If it gets surrounded by Cold One Knights, it'll have a bad time, but it's back in the sky, so it can pick its own battles if it wants to. High Elves are really struggling to keep these the Dark Elves at bay. It looks like the archers are going to be left on their own. The Dragon Prince is not willing to dive in there all on their own versus so great of numbers. Don't want to lose them, just sacrifice one archer. I respect that, but it also hurts my little Skaven heart. Find your love here, hard pass. Malekith should just grab the closest cheese sandwich and whip it at Teclis. All right, so Malekith throws a quick breath attack at the other archer who is not contested, and both archers are now getting pulled away. What is this? A Soul Stealer onto one Dragon Prince? Okay. Seems a little bit of an overinvestment, but alright. Really wants to kill this Dragon Prince while it's rampaging, I suppose. The other Dragon Prince is fighting the Crows of Cain alongside Imric, and Imric is fighting that Feral Manticore, taking it out. So the Dark Elves are taking a big punishment on this backside. While they did muck up the High Elf archer lines, they stopped them from firing for a bit. They aren't getting it for free. Taking a lot of damage. The High Elf front line, however, is falling apart. It was very, very thin to begin with, so it's not that shocking. It's not doing well now. The Great Eagle did, for some reason, land in the Cold One Knights. I missed why that happened. Maybe it wasn't intentional. I don't know. I wasn't looking, but it is suffering the fate now, and it gets a regrowth cast onto it. That is one less regrowth for Imric and the Dragon Princes, so it's a bad regrowth. Imric is the only one that gets healing, ever. But jokes aside, he does get a really nice recharge on those Cold One Knights, get a lot of damage out, and he can even pull through the other side and get back in the air if he wants to. Now, High Elves in real trouble as a bunch of their skirmish cav get stuck rampaged, and these Dragon Princes are still rampaged into the Sisters of Singing Doom. I wonder if the rampage bug applies to the Sisters of Singing Doom's Madness of Cain. I wonder if you can get infinite rampage by that or not. But Black Knight is losing a lot of his cavalry to that rampage. It seems like a cool Dark Elf tech that was sleeper until now, because we have seen 2 games today where the Sisters were taken just to rampage stuff. Imric throws the Blue Vuzela out one time to try and rally his forces, and they are coming in for one more charge. Balance of power shifts against Imric. There's too many Dark Elves. Too many men! Manticore is hunting down a Life Mage. Blackheart Corsairs are chasing the archers off into the distance, and it is ending up just Imric versus the world, as the Soul Stealer is going to hit him and his Illyrian Reavers. He himself is diving onto Malekith, though. And if he can 1v1 Malekith, he can maybe carry this whole game, but I don't know. There's a lot of Dark Elves left, and Dragon Lords infamously don't love just sitting and grinding through infantry. Is all the money on Imric? Apparently. Void used a lot of VC in Warhammer 2. Badly balanced factions, Crumley's meme. I know Void loves VC, even if they weren't OP. They're his favorite faction thematically. That one I just know from a lot of conversations with him. He would play them regardless. Alright. Imric trying to recharge some Cold Ones. Dragon Princes and Illyrian Reavers rallying to try and protect the Life Mage, who gets dove on by Malekith. Malekith probably has another Soul Stealer by now, honestly. He's going to throw it down in this area, take out a lot of the things, and maybe even trigger army losses. A regrowth from the dying Life Mage onto Imric. Says, go, sweet Imric, carry this whole game. And he's like, dude, I'll try, but this is a lot. This is like a lot that's going on right now. So Imric's up in the sky. He tried to get a breath attack onto Malekith, then he canceled it because Malekith is flying away. And Imric tries to bail out his fledgling life caster, but she is about to terror out as soon as Malekith lands. Boom! Terror out from the Manticore before Malekith even got there. Big Soul Stealer from the man, the myth, the legend himself, the true heir of Assyrian, etc., etc. Everything is routing for the High Elves except for Imric. And Imric is soon to be destroyed as he gets cycle charged by Malekith. Cold One Knights fight him. More Cold One Knights fight him. But there's too many. There's too many people. As another Soul Stealer hits him, so does the army losses. Malekith, 2,700 value. Manticore, 700-ish. Cold One Knights all paying for themselves. Very nice stuff there. Sisters of Singing Doom were like MVPs that game with rampaging the expensive cap. And yeah, in the chat, Black Knight is saying you got spanked. Now, Imric did outvalue Malekith, even though Malekith was casting Soul Stealers over and over again. So that is pretty nice. Nice job there, but it wasn't enough as the rest of the build really didn't pay for itself. Rode the struggle bus. Rode the struggle bus. So that is it for the replays. Now, you might be saying, what do we do? What do we do now, Hummus Boy? How does this work? How are the finals going to go? I will reach out to the 4 players, Void, Hanadins, Blood Penguin, Thunderwolf, at the nearest convenience. Now, a little unfortunately, Blood Penguin is a North American time zone player, while the other 3 are all European. It would be a little easier if all 4 were of the same time zone, because then maybe we could even do a weekday thing, where it's just like, yeah, just an afternoon. Because all we have left to bang out is 2 best of 1s, and the final is a best of 3. Land battle, domination, land battle is the format. Before anybody whines about it, I put domination in there because I wanted to. And also, imagine the finals is like Dwarves Skaven, like just a shit matchup. Because I had to determine the format before time, right? If the finals is like Dwarves Skaven and it just sucks, or like Nurgle Khorne and it just sucks, rather than watching 3 games of that, at least the domination meta is different. So then it's like, at least one of the games in the middle is like Nurgle Khorne might be a little more even than Nurgle Khorne in land battles, right? So it's just switched up. And also, I wanted to. And also, too bad. So, yeah. The live stream will be 5 games. I'll reach out to these 4 players, figure out a time that works, get those cast. Most likely, it's going to be next weekend, because weekends generally work for people. But I'll see. You never know. I'll keep you as posted as I can. We'll get that out. The last stream will be pretty quick. 5 games. Should be nice. Aside from that, the prize pool was gathered from donations over the course of these 2 streams. And I'll split that among the top 4. First getting the most, second getting like half that, and then third and fourth getting whatever's left mathematically. All right. It's been a good run. VC, I'm sure no one has shocked me that it's the top 4. Dark Elves are also not a shocker to see up there. But Demons of Chaos and Kislev, I will say, are pleasant surprises to hit the top 4. All right. That'll be it for today. GG well played, says Will. I'm crypto rooting for Hanadins right now, not gonna lie. Demons of Chaos would be a pretty hype win, yeah. Watching Dwarves Skaven 3x line battle. It's your turn to screw the naysayers, yeah. All right. See you, everybody. Have a good night.